Yeah, hi there, and these comments are for Brian, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. So what are we doing here? What am I doing? Happy Halloween to you. That's what we're doing. Let me show you something. Check this out. Okay, here. This is my Ghostbuster proton pack. Check this out. See that? So I can turn that on. See my light there? So this is what I wear. Put it in the back like that. See that? So I built this. I built my son one. So when we go trick-or-treating tonight, this is what we wear. Alright, so let's get to your question here. Give me a quick second. I'm going to put this back. Okay, so you had a question, a very good question about pronunciation, right? And I think I want to do a video on this. When you say, when I have a paragraph, I divide this into thought groups. I understand, and in the final of each thought group, I have not to let my pitch fall or try to make a slight pitch fall in order to maintain the tone of the last word of the thought group and in the last word with a period. Yes, that's right. So you're dividing your ideas into thought groups. A thought group typically consists of 4 or 5 stress words, right? And if it's not the last thought group, I think in the sentence, your tone is a half pitch higher until you get to the end. And that's what you've been practicing. You were sending me some exercises even today that focus on that, right? Okay, now here's your question. See, I'm not sure when there's a comma, a semicolon, or other punctuation. Okay, here's a key. If you keep watching those videos, you will get the answer to this question, but let me answer it. If there's a comma, your pitch should rise a little bit. I might say, next to the store by the bank, my friend is driving his car. So after the comma, your tone needs to rise. Why? Because you're not done with that idea. So with commas, typically, you'll have a slight pitch rise at the end of a thought group, which is followed by a comma. Unless it's, well, it won't be the last item in the series because it's a comma. Okay, semicolons. Semicolons connect independent clauses together. It's kind of like a period. So I would treat semicolons like a period. So when you get to the end of the sentence with a semicolon, your tone should fall, right? That's what you should do there. Now, colons is the opposite. Because a colon doesn't introduce, it's not the end of the sentence, but introduces some ideas which are dependent on the previous sentence. So in a thought group, and if the final thought group ends with a colon, so then the tone should rise just a little bit because you're not done with that idea. That's what I would say there. So if I said this, I have several hobbies: hiking, swimming, fishing, and running. So I say I have several hobbies. So after hobbies, I put a colon, and my tone should be a little bit higher with that idea. Now the same thing happens with dashes, right? Obviously, if you have a dash, that's not the end of the sentence. So the idea right before the dash is the last word in that thought group. So the tone should be a little bit higher. And then everything within the dash, when you get to the final word in the dash, again, the tone's higher, and then you read the rest of the sentence and then drop your pitch when you get to the end. That would be my advice on that. Does that make sense? And obviously, you know what to do with questions. Questions, typically, if they're yes-no questions, you'll have rising tone at the end of those. With WH questions, however, you'll have falling intonation at the end of those things. Remember that. All right, Brian, so anyway, I hope that this clarifies your hesitation. Now, you have one more question, right? So I'm going to answer this one at the same time. You say, do you recommend that I buy some official TOEFL IBT practice test or ETS TOEFL? You can do that, yes. If you want to take some official, let's say, listening and reading practice tests, yes, you can do that. I wouldn't recommend, don't worry about doing any speaking or writing practice with any of those books because you can't do it anyway. Who's going to listen to you? But if you want to use a practice test, a speaking practice test from your TOEFL book, you can do that. Just let me know what the question is, or whether it's an integrated or independent speaking task. So I think it's a good idea to do some official type practice as you're building your English. So I think that you're understanding how my website works. So the purpose of my website is to improve your academic English language abilities. That's what I'm trying to do. And then you can also take some listening and reading practice tests from TOEFL to help verify your progress. All right, so those are my comments to you. All right, thanks, Brian, and happy Halloween.